let's get into the Q&A. Let's see. Uzi, I bought Solana at 157 bucks. It's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's going to go up way higher in the bull market. I think most everything will go up. I can't tell you if everything, but I'm feeling pretty good about a lot of the altcoins. Just not right now. Danny says, I dollar cost average until 2023. It's pretty smart, actually. Beginning 2024. Then Bitcoin when it dropped to 47,000, 52,000 euros. Then I bought ETH. I sold it. I bought NEAR. That's a good play too. More Solana once I got the amount of Bitcoin I wanted. Sounds pretty good. Danny's on top of it. Very nice. I can't. Yeah, that's funny. Forget to five in a row coming. Yeah. Don't forget to hit the like. Sure. Sold at 80 bucks. Maybe. That'd be hurtful. Although I don't think it'd be that bad for people who bought it like $9 or $12. The real believers. They'd be like, whatever. But I wonder, Solana at 80 bucks, I could see it happening. That would mean that Bitcoin also tumbled and everything else probably tumbled too. I don't think it's just an isolated incident of Solana losing 50% of its market cap overnight, which is roughly what it would be. There would have to be something horrible with the blockchain, something with double spend, something with a massive outage for like a week or something. I don't know. Could it happen? Anything can happen. I will tell you, I've been in digital assets for long enough to realize that it's Murphy's Law. If something bad can happen, it'll happen. Taking notes, when new highs? I don't think it's going to happen. Give it another 30 days until we hit this presidential election here in the US. And after that, I think we'll see some good appreciation as far as price goes. The country's going to be really ticked off for a while because whoever you're voting for, 50% roughly of those people are going to be mad because their person didn't get into the White House. But it'll just simmer down over time, and then people will get back to their lives and they'll be like, oh, well, that's it. And then hopefully the market goes up. Like I said before, I don't think we're going to see much action until end of 2024 into 2025. And so far, it's been staying that way. So this guy's name is wrong. 1 year ago it was $8. Yeah, that's right. Solana was very cheap. Some people are still holding. I have to agree. Moonbag. I think you can download an entire node to your phone. Wow. Soul Hulk. That's a pretty good indicator. I still hold Solana and bought some cheap. Yeah. I've been buying a lot of stuff lately. I just feel like this is the time to, I still think we're going to have one more drastic dip coming in. There's always something, right? But I don't really care so much. At that point, I just take a look at the wristbands on Ben's site and the Cryptoverse, and I just see like, okay, I'm dynamic DCAing. If you don't know what that is, there's a link in the description where, once you get into these wristbands and they start to go down, it's less risky, you start to pick more up. And then over time, you just wait or you don't do anything. One of those two things you can do, and it's quite easy. It's very easy to do nothing. I'm like the king of doing nothing. And you just wait it out. And then once the price starts to appreciate, I think it will, then you start to buy. But yeah, I've been buying, but I've got a good amount of dry powder on the side, just waiting. Unfortunately, fortunately, I've got a pretty good deal on real estate right now that I have to buy. I can't let this one go. Let's see. The secondary scare. So Ryan says, I just started watching the top. The Nakamoto coefficient cannot be applied to proof of stake because it does not take into consideration the governance layer of these networks above technicals. I will have to ask you about this. As far as like DAOs and the decentralized nature of that, how many different projects have an extremely active DAO and are really hands-off from what the foundation is actually doing? And I know some people say, well, it's not about that because it does this one particular thing and it does that. It gets so technical. I get you. Sure. But when we take a look at it, if you can look at this and just say, well, you have 10 validators and that's it, but you got a ton of people in the DAO. That's great, but can you still attack it? Is there still a single point of failure if you have, let's say, 3 or 4? I think the more that you have, the less of an attack vector you actually go. I'm just saying. TANGEM will support after October 11th per their roadmap. I think if we're talking about staking, I want to say it's Q4, but if it comes into staking of Cardano and NEAR and Toncoin, then yes, I think that's Q4. But if it comes earlier, fantastic. Let's see. Sweet. What else we have? Enzo says, did you buy a Solana phone? No, but we're talking about it on NFA Live. If anybody has a Solana phone, please chime in, because we were talking about what the functionality of the Solana phone is, and if it rivals, and like truly rivals for a normal person to go, you know what, I don't want an iPhone, I don't want an Android phone, I want this Solana phone. Is there some function, is there some app, this killer app that's in there that would make a lot of people just transfer over, or just this all Web3 people? Because when we were talking about it, someone said, I can't believe these guys don't know how great the Solana phone is and everything it does. I'm like, does it really do that much? I don't know. Like, I mean, I've got my Phantom wallet on my iPhone. That's usually what I do a lot of things with. All right. Yeah. Oh, Meme says I ordered the new one. I'll let you know when I get it. Great. Let's see what happens. Wow. Tom Reed says, Slush Pool RAM to Brains. They currently have 89,000 of their individual mining machines, ASICs, connected to their pool, bonding with them since 2011. So Tom, tell me if I'm wrong here, but can you unplug from that mining pool and go to any pool that you want to as a Bitcoin miner? Just curious. Solana phone probably good for airdrops. You know, if you bought the original phone, the airdrops paid for the phone plus some. I think Bonk was one of the big revenue of the phone itself. So pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool if you held on to it. Capitalist Pig says, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? There's some documentary that just came out. I want to say it's HBO, and they are saying that they revealed whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is. Some people say it's not him. Some people say it is. But in reality, the only thing that does it really matter, I think it would matter if it came out that it was like somebody who's in the public and was actually alive. So like the gentleman that they named, he passed away. He committed suicide, unfortunately. And it looks like nobody has access to that wallet. So I know, like, I think when people get nervous about it, because if it's a real person, not a group of people, and they're discovered, then maybe the government could go there and somehow shut them down. Actually, I doubt. And the second thing is, of course, if they start to move things within that Satoshi wallet and start to sell off like crazy, that would lead to quite a bit of a crash. But apparently with this one, that's not happening, obviously. Let's see. Sui handheld device will be big. Yeah, it will. I was just listening to on Guy's channel, Coin Bureau, and they were talking about Sui was going to come out with a handheld gaming device in 2025. However, I just saw the same thing for Solana, and they just closed, I think they just closed their pre-orders from this handheld device. And the device itself for Solana, I think it's on Solana Gaming. It looks just like a Game Boy. I don't know if you're old enough to remember those, but that's what it looks like to me. But I wonder if it's probably the same thing. You probably get a bunch of airdrops and NFTs for free. Afro says, you demonstrated soul validation profitability in a nice way. What about Cardano? Cardano? Cardano SPO. Let's see if CEX Explorer has it or not. Well, they have something, but unfortunately it's a spreadsheet, which is extremely boring. Margins. Yeah, my eyes are glazing over already. No, but I'll tell you, if I find something, I'll put it on for the next video. How about that? All right. First release. Crypto classes. The Solana phone is not great. It would not be a flagship by today's standards. It is good enough, though. The whole purpose is, there you go. 0 drops. S says, I love it. Sol can't handle pressure and is slow and congested when it's busy, makes people money, but needs to step it up. I actually have to agree with that. So I think every chain could improve, right? Is any chain perfect? No. I think every chain should be able to do better. And of course, but people say, what, Fire Dancer, Hydra, whatever else. Yes, I know. Let's just get them out so they can function perfectly. That'd be awesome. I know. Cody, currency of the internet, probably do well in the bull market. I don't own any of that, but looks promising. Vatican says we'll near hit an all-time high or higher by 2025. I would think so, unless some craziness comes out about some huge scandal or I don't know. Let's see. What was the all-time high? That's the question. Yeah, well, it started at $1. Wow, it was $20. It's just a 4x from here, roughly. So what's the market cap? 5 billion. So 4x, 20 billion. And that's, well, what's great about this, though, somebody say, what about the circulating? Because what about the supply? The circulating supply and total supply are roughly the same. And of course, max supply is infinity because there's obviously inflation for staking rewards. Gotcha. So 20 billion, that would put it well, if it can just be Dogecoin, yeah, it can do that. So yeah, I don't see why not. Be able to see. Assuming they are still alive, it is 1 in 8 billion. Guess who Satoshi is? I like those odds. Great chance to guess it right to win the lottery. Yeah. I always thought it was Hal Finney or Adam Beck, one of those two. But this guy just from out of nowhere. Hey, Rob, what is the safe place to live in San Juan so people don't break into your house, apartment, condado only? I got to tell you, I live in Guaynabo, and that's a pretty great subdivision. And it's like just like, you know, it's 10 minutes outside of San Juan, 15 minutes with the potholes. But I like that area personally. Yeah, over by Garden Hill is not a bad place. So yeah, and it's not like San Juan is like super high crime area. I want to see super high crime. I mean, every city in the United States has crime, and it's rising apparently. But nah, Guaynabo is where I like to be. That's all. And then I get away from the tourists, which is great. I don't really like people a lot. Cardano is about 3.5% ROI. Oh. Pig, that was a low blow, but it was a good one. 3.5%. That hurts. God might hear you. Vatican. Up from Wales. Yeah, Rayskin says actual console designing costs tens or hundreds of millions and takes years. Yeah, for a console, yeah. These handheld devices, I gotta tell you, like, here. So I can find it. Oh, that is it. Is that it? Solana. Yeah. Whoops. Here you go. Well, yeeks. So this is the device. I mean, you didn't really get to see it when you replay it. Tell me that's not a Game Boy. That is a Game Boy. It's like they just scratched off Nintendo. But hey, good for them. They'll probably make a boatload of money. Just saying. All right. Crypto class, what's your take on Hivemapper? You know what's amazing about Hivemapper is how much they've actually, as far as like mapped the entire world. Check this out. Wow, it went up. So Hivemapper, if you don't know, it's in the Solana ecosystem. You buy the actual hardware device, you stick it on your rear view mirror or somewhere in your car, and as you're driving, it just maps the entire location, kind of like what Google Maps did, essentially, right? And you can see that as far as global coverage. Oh, it used to. Well, it doesn't look like it's. It says 27%, but the only parts I can see is that's not right. Oh, global coverage. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for. Oh, good. Contribute. I want to say it's over 15% now as far as what they've actually mapped. This is actually something that actually is used. So if you want to get into that, this is it. B for consumers. Yeah, that's it. See, it goes right there. And it just maps the area. How much are they? Oh. They used to be for sale. I don't know what happened. Ooh, wow. $500. And then you have to, I believe they pay you in Hive. And that would be, or honey, I should say. 301. Let's max out. Oof. And this is the funny thing about crypto. It's just hype. I don't know if this is when they rolled it out, but it was 30 cents at one point, 33. Now it's at 6. But look at this. I got to tell you, maybe this is something to look into as far as like investing. Again, this is risky stuff. So if you don't like risky stuff, then I don't know why you're in crypto. But yeah, total supply, 6 billion, 10 billion. The question you have to ask yourself is one of the unlocks. This is the circular. What? The circulating supply is 2.7 billion. Oh, the trading volume is abysmal, 120,000. This is a very risky play. 167,308,000. So sometimes on here you'll have tokenomics, not in this one. Let's take a look here. You go to token.unlocks.app. Let's see. Is it honey? No. No. So you'd have to go through the white paper and see when this is actually going to be unlocked. Very risky play. I can say that with assurance. I don't think I would get into it right now. Unless something else great comes out. Who knows? Yeah, Chris Brunger, USDT be delisted from Coinbase. I think that's in the EU only. I'm not for sure if that's in the US. I think it was because of MiCA regulations. Correct me in the comments section, but that's what's going on with Tether. Incoming price prediction. Yeah, Hivemapper will be somewhere between 2 cents and $200 by the end of 2025. Uzi says, do you think all these creatures of coins have 7-figure salaries or heads of foundations, and they win or lose, they've been getting paid year after year? I think that's pretty much the foundation. Also, me and Guy talked about this, about these conferences. It just seems like a lot of the days, the conferences that we go to, it's all just built up for people to go there, and it's like a big money machine. I hate to say it like that, but that's how I see it. I don't really like conferences either. There's a Netflix on Satoshi, I heard. Oh. Good evening from the UK. Satoshi is CIA, National Security Agency, or some other part of the alphabet? Probably so. Oh, this is good. Ryan Ventek says, I asked Adam Beck directly after a few beers in Lisbon, and he has a great poker face if it's him. I don't think so, and the original code was rough, and Hal tidied it up. I still say it's a group of people. It makes more sense. Maybe somebody had the original idea, and then they all work together. 3, 4 people, and they just shut up and don't say who it is. I heard the sweet advice. Oh, that's out already. Let's take a look. I was going to talk to you guys about this today, but I play it for next. What is this? What the heck is this? The Sui Gaming handheld now accepting pre-orders. Oh, that's very nice. Put it like that way. Huh. First Web3 handheld gaming device. I don't know if it's the first, but okay. Giving gamers both a pleasing handheld experience. Body includes a 7-inch bezel-less screen, triggers, buttons, joysticks, headphones, da-da-da. I don't know if people are going to use that. What? Who am I to say? If you're going to listen to gaming advice, it's not going to be from me. So, yeah, maybe it'll work out pretty well. How do I know what people want? Probably do well. Let's see. That's copyright. Does it come with Tetris? That'd be pretty good. Jason Ford says, hey, Rob, on a bit later today, can catch you from Australia. All right. Thank you, Jason. What about the crime in El Paso? Worst places? El Paso, Texas is one of the safest cities in the United States. And the reason is, and this is not just me, this is statistics, and this is actually there was a book from Beto O'Rourke, and he talked about and he put out statistics about why it's so safe here. And the reason is, just between us, is because we sit right next to Juarez, Mexico. And Juarez, it is a place where a lot of things pass over the border. And a lot of those things that pass over the border are drugs. And the cartel does not like high crime areas in their ports of where they're transferring drugs across. Now, again, this is just from a book from Beto O'Rourke. It's very interesting. I read this about 7, 8 years ago. And it makes a lot of sense because if you can keep crime low, you can transfer everything over. There's not as many police, FBI, DEA, and all that stuff that will crack down, and they just have a nice little port of entry and exit. So as far as like El Paso, very safe. Now there's always some places, if it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're downtown and you're hammered, probably not a great place to be. You're going to get caught. Something's going to happen to you. Murphy's Law. Uzi says, do you know if Ben got burnt on alts at some point from to lose any interest? Ben got burnt, not badly. He got burnt just like the rest of us. It's just that Ben's like, I'm not doing that again. And he's just like, Bitcoin dominance, I'm going to roll into Bitcoin, and that's it. It worked out pretty well. And it actually was because of him. Like if it wasn't for Ben, I would and talking to him every week, I probably would have done like probably 50% of my portfolio or lower into Bitcoin. And I probably would have gone more into alts, but I kept it above 70. I'm underwater on some alts, not all. I've been buying since 2022. So yeah, but yeah, Ben got burnt and he's like, I'm not going to go through that again. I'm not going to have my subscribers go through that again. And that's it. But I will say, he says multiple times, like, look, Bitcoin dominance is going to hit 60. We're going to start to see altcoin season run. And I think that'll be next year. And once that happens, then I'll let you know. Please, honey, go to 200. Yeah, right. That was the worst, probably one of my worst price predictions I could have given you. Satoshi's big titty. Tom says, with Bitcoin, you can mine solo or with any mining pool. You can change how and where you mine at will. It's not like staking where you're locked in for something. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Robin says, Interest Son used to mine helium, have a hotspot years ago. Yeah, in LA. How'd that work out for him? I did pretty well, actually. I mean, there was a time when it was like it crashed. The price was awful. I don't think he still does it, though, because there's so much competition now. He's just like, you know, if I move to like South Dakota, there's no competition over there. But, you know, in Los Angeles, California, there's tons of competition. So I don't think he does it anymore. I'll have to ask him. I don't think so. Vatican says, hey, Rob, can you live with $6K a month for the rest of your life with the house paid off? I mean, I personally can do a lot with $6K. Depends on where you live. If you're in Hawaii or Puerto Rico, and just to go to Walmart is expensive. Electricity is super expensive because everything's imported. I mean, as far as like goods, services, not so much. But yeah, you can do pretty well. The only caveat is, and this is something you got to think about as you get older, what if you're sick? How much does your insurance actually pay for it? And that, I think, is the big thing. Because, you know, insurance, and I was in the medical field for 2 decades, it's not like it's there to pay off everything. So you need to have a nice nest egg just for that. And then that is just for you. What about for your family members? What about for your parents? What about for something happens to your kids? You gotta, I mean, I always feel like I need to have a lot more just for the people around me, just to make sure. So yeah. Fox says, how do you pick your daily topics? I got a research assistant. His name is Leonardo, and he sends me all types of information every day. I pick the best stuff, and I add some stuff that I see, and I mash it together, and here we go. Like today, it was just like, there wasn't much news today, but I wanted to really dive into that Nakamoto coefficient and kind of talk about like what's really decentralized, what's centralized. Does it really matter? It matters, but you know, as far as like price appreciation, like, let's be honest. If we were really gung-ho on decentralization, Binance Smart Chain wouldn't even be in the top 500. Thanks, Aristotle or Plato. I appreciate that. Ooh, Meme says, if you remove a significant amount of crypto at one time, Coinbase will put a hold on the transfer for an hour or so to check for fraud. I think that's good. I know this is not a popular opinion, but I think that's good. Let's say you, not you, Meme, I know you didn't do this, but let's just say that you just did the 2-factor authentication, but not with a Google authenticator, maybe just did your cell phone. And you're a part of a SIM swap attack, and somebody hacks you. And then somebody goes in there and is like, hey, I see that Meme's got 10 Bitcoin. I'm just going to take that and put them in my wallet. Nothing you can do about it. And they do it, and they don't double check. They're like, wow, Meme has not removed all of his or her Bitcoin. So maybe there's something with that. I support that. I know people say, well, how dare they? Like, look, If you get hacked, you'd be like, thank God they did it. Yeah, just not El Paso ones. Ugh, awful, awful. That shooting, just, it was right down the street, for Pete's sakes. Yeah, it was pretty awful. But we're not the only city, that's for sure. Worst crime is drugs. It depends on the drugs. Let's see. Sorry I'm late. Dogs thrive. Like me personally, I think, and this is like me working in oncology, I think marijuana should definitely be legalized for medicinal purposes. Have you seen the pain medications that people have to go through, especially if you have osteosarcoma? If you have bone cancer, it is debilitating and awful. And you have to take massive amounts of, I mean, if you're on fentanyl, that's another one. But if you can take these oral medications for pain, it destroys your body. But if you can take marijuana, you can actually decrease the amount that you take and have some type of appetite. You don't shrink into nothing after your radiation and chemo. Just a little history. Ben saved me a boatload with his take a cold shower when you think about buying alts. He saved me some. I didn't listen to him all the time, though. Let's see. The more cycles you've been through, the more Bitcoin max you become. And Ian is 100% correct on that. That is, as time goes on, but it's like Bitcoin's a cheat code if you think about it. Because in the beginning, like you don't, like when you're investing, some people come in with a lot of money. So it's like, this is easy. And once they understand Bitcoin, like, I'll just put it into Bitcoin. And that's why I'm so big on Bitcoin as far as like with institutions and corporations and even banks, because they just like, well, yeah, this other stuff is super risky. We don't know what the government's going to do with it, but it's already been approved for a spot ETF. Even Gary Gensler, who hopefully gets fired soon, I mean, he went through and his commissioners and he actually approved it. So maybe I don't get the return on, say like Pepe coin, but if I look over at like a 4-year cycle over time, and I take a look at the ETF historical progress and how well it's done, it's the best performing spot ETF out there. I'll probably put my money into that and then double, triple, quadruple whatever I put into it, as opposed to doing treasuries, T-bills, whatever else. Or maybe that becomes a part of my portfolio. Regardless, I think if you have big money and you're in even a family office, you're like, okay, if I'm going to do risk to reward, Bitcoin's probably the best place. Does that mean that I should only go into Bitcoin? No, maybe if your pie is, you have equities, real estate, precious metals, treasuries, and then you say, you know what, we're going to put 5% into crypto. Let's put 4.5% into Bitcoin, 0.5% or 0.5% into, name your crypto. I don't know. So we'll see. That's a tight budget. Yeah. Betcha's got a good point. Don't be overexcited about things and worry about missing out. Don't get that mindset. That's how some people get horse blinders and get scammed. Be patient, be vigilant. Exactly. I want to say in the last quarter, people lost $134 million to scams. We just talked about this a couple of days ago. I forgot the numbers already. But yeah, people are going to lose. And it's not a question of if you're going to get scammed, it's when. It only takes one time. And people are like, that's not going to happen to me, bro. Just wait. Nice. Just so you know, I'm watching my projector, 85 inches of Rob. That would make my head look even bigger. Man, that's good enough. The Zen of Gavin says, cannabis helped me overcome insomnia after trying so many drugs. Yeah, the great thing is I didn't become dependent on it. I don't take cannabis anymore. Great. See what I'm talking about? And Digital Asset US says, the banana zone is still coming. Please relax, folks. Just follow strategy and what you're investing is, not dreaming in. Couldn't have said it better myself. So that's a great place to end it. So everybody, we've gone an hour on a Sunday. It's time to go watch some football, probably have some beers, and just relax on the weekend. So first of all, thanks for stopping by on a Sunday and chatting with me. I appreciate it. Like today's video on the way out, little thumbs up, a little subscribe, but that's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you guys on the next one, which will be tomorrow. Adios.